My beloved brothers and sisters, not every person you meet is coming from a place of sincerity. Some people smile in your face, but carry poison in their heart. Some may appear as though they are listening, but they are only looking for your weakness to use it against you. The truth is, not every heart is pure, and not every ear deserves access to your soul. There comes a time when you must recognize that your peace, your faith, and your sanity are more valuable than trying to gain the approval of people who are driven by ego, arrogance, or even darker motives. The Qur'an reminds us that shaitan works not only around us, but also through people. Sometimes the whispers you hear are not coming from thin air. They're coming from tongues and hearts of people whose hearts have been darkened by pride, envy, or hatred. When you try to constantly explain yourself to such people, hoping that they will finally understand you or respect your intentions, you are draining yourself. Why would you argue with someone who has no interest in truth? Why keep trying to prove your sincerity to people who have already decided to misunderstand you? Allah knows your heart. That should be enough. He knows the intention behind your actions. That should bring you peace. If you are doing what is right in the sight of Allah, you don't need a crowd to cheer you on. You don't need the toxic approval of people who are secretly happy when you fall. Some people are not looking for truth. They are looking for a reason to attack, to mock, or to feel better about themselves by pulling you down. Sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about their own inner demons, insecurities, hatred that have nothing to do with you. You just happen to be the one in front of them. And the more you engage, the more they drain you, the more you try to explain, the more you give them ammunition. That's why silence is a form of strength. Ignoring what is evil is not cowardice, it's wisdom. The Prophet faced slander, lies, hatred, and violence, yet he did not spend his life trying to explain himself to every hypocrite. And he focused on his mission. He placed his trust in Allah and he moved forward. When you stop explaining yourself to the wrong people, you begin to find peace. You begin to invest that energy into things that actually matter. Your relationship with Allah, your family, your character, your goals. You start living for the one who created you, not for the ones who misunderstood you. There is a difference between clarifying a matter with wisdom and chasing after people to accept your truth. If someone wants to understand, Allah will open their heart. If someone is blinded by their own ego, no amount of words will reach them. You are not responsible for their darkness. You are only responsible for your own light. And remember, the devil loves nothing more than to keep you trapped in endless debates, arguments, and explanations that lead nowhere. He wants to distract you from your purpose, to shake your confidence, to confuse your heart. Don't give him that power. Say what you need to say with dignity and then move on. Focus on your growth, protect your peace, and most importantly, remind yourself, Allah sees me, Allah knows me, and Allah will defend me. That is more powerful than any explanation ever could be. One of the most important lessons a believer can learn in life is that not every heart is pure and not every ear is sincere. We sometimes make the mistake of thinking that if we just explain ourselves enough, if we give people our full truth, if we open our hearts completely, they will understand us, respect us, or love us. But the reality is not everyone deserves access to your truth. There are people who ask you personal questions not because they care about you, but because they want to gather information to use against you. There are people who smile in front of you, pretend to be listening, pretend to be supportive, but deep down they are waiting for a moment of weakness so they can spread doubt, gossip, or negativity. This is why the wise believer is not naive. The wise believer protects their heart, their words, and their energy. Because once you expose your truth to the wrong person, it can be twisted, manipulated, or used in ways that cause you more harm than good. In the Qur'an, we are taught to speak the truth, but we are also taught to be wise about how, when, and to whom we speak. The Prophet was the most truthful person on earth, yet he didn't reveal everything to everyone. He knew who to trust. He knew when to remain silent. That wasn't weakness. That was divine wisdom. Sometimes you will meet people who are not interested in who you really are. They just want to find fault in you. They are not listening to understand. They are listening to argue, to mock, or to feel superior. And no matter how much truth you pour out, their hearts will not accept it because they were never open to the truth in the first place. That's why it is so important to remember, Allah knows the truth of who you are. He knows what's in your heart. He knows the sincerity behind your actions, and His knowledge is more valuable than the approval of 1,000 people. When you live your life seeking to please Allah, and you remain firm on your values and integrity, then it no longer hurts when people misunderstand you. It no longer breaks you when someone doubts your intentions, because the one who matters most already knows you. There is great wisdom in remaining silent at times. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it's protection. It protects your truth from falling into the wrong hands. It protects your peace from being disturbed by people who are not emotionally or spiritually mature enough to respect it. There is no need to explain yourself to everyone. If someone genuinely cares, Allah will guide them to understand you. And if someone's heart is filled with pride or hatred, no explanation will ever be enough for them. We must also be cautious not to confuse transparency with vulnerability. Being honest and open is part of our character, but that doesn't mean we must expose every detail of our lives to people who have not earned our trust. Even the most righteous people kept some things private. Even the most loving companions of the Prophet had boundaries, because dignity is preserved by protecting what is sacred: your thoughts, your struggles, your relationship with Allah. So the next time you feel misunderstood, don't rush to explain yourself. The next time you feel misunderstood, don't rush to explain yourself. Pause. Ask yourself, is this person really trying to understand, or are they just looking for something to use against me? Sometimes silence is louder than 1,000 words. And sometimes walking away from a conversation that leads nowhere is more noble than winning an argument. Your truth is valuable. Don't hand it out to those who haven't shown sincerity. Don't keep justifying your decisions to those who are only watching to criticize. Allah is your witness. He is the one who will defend you when no one else understands you. And as long as your heart is clean before Him, you have nothing to prove to anyone else. So carry yourself with dignity. Speak when it matters. Stay silent when it protects your peace. And never forget, your worth does not depend on how many people understand you. Your worth lies in how sincerely you live for the sake of Allah. Sometimes we forget that Shaitan doesn't always approach us directly. He doesn't always whisper in solitude. Often he uses people around us, people close to us, people who smile and speak kind words but carry hearts that are clouded with jealousy, pride, or malice. This is one of his most dangerous strategies, to work through those whose hearts are already open to his influence. Allah has told us clearly that Shaitan is an open enemy to mankind. He doesn't rest. He doesn't sleep. He works with persistence and patience, using any path he can to create division, confusion, and pain. And when he finds a heart that holds on to envy, arrogance, hatred, or selfishness, he finds an entry point. He plants more whispers. He feeds those feelings until that person becomes a tool of harm, knowingly or unknowingly. You may wonder why someone you trusted suddenly turned against you, why a friend who was once close to you now competes with you, why someone keeps belittling your efforts, mocking your intentions, or doubting your sincerity. Sometimes it's not about you, it's about what's happening inside of them. And sometimes it's about what Shaitan is doing through them. Jealousy is a disease of the heart. When someone sees you doing well, progressing, or receiving blessings, Shaitan whispers, "Why them, not you?" Instead of making dua for you, they start plotting against you. Instead of being happy, they feel bitter. That's how Shaitan operates. He feeds the ego, convinces the person that they are better, that they deserve more, and that your success somehow threatens their worth. Pride is another dangerous door. When someone is filled with arrogance, Shaitan makes them look down on others. He makes them believe that they are always right and others are all. Shaitan convinces them that apologizing or forgiving is a sign of weakness, and so they become stubborn, hard-hearted, and quick to attack anyone who challenges their inflated image of themselves. And then there's malice, pure ill intention. Some people carry hurt and never heal. They let their pain fester into hatred. Shaitan whispers that revenge will bring peace, that causing others pain will heal their own. And before long, their hearts become a battlefield that Shaitan uses to target those around them. This is why the Prophet warned us repeatedly about the diseases of the heart, because when the heart is sick, it becomes vulnerable. When the heart is left unchecked, it becomes a vessel through which evil can operate. But here's what's important. We must not become like them. We must not return harm with harm. When we recognize that someone is acting out of jealousy, pride, or malice, our role is not to argue or to fight back with the same poison. Our role is to protect our peace, guard our heart, and turn to Allah. Because the battle is not just with them, it's with the influence behind their behavior. Don't allow yourself to get dragged into the drama that Shaitan orchestrates through others. If someone is always attacking you without reason, trying to provoke you, mocking your efforts, step back and seek refuge in Allah. Say, A'udhu billahmini min shaitanir rahim. Protect yourself with Quranic verses, du'as, and silence. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. When you respond with patience, when you keep your intentions pure, Shaitan Allahim, Shaitan loses. When you keep walking forward without allowing their darkness to dim your light, Shaitan loses. Let us not be naive. Let us be aware that Shaitan can use even those who appear righteous if they do not guard their hearts. And let us make constant dua that we ourselves do not become tools of harm to others. Always ask Allah to cleanse your heart from envy, from pride, and from ill will. Because the moment you allow those to take root, you are giving Shaitan the steering wheel. So protect your heart and protect your peace. Recognize the signs when people begin to act with darkness, but more importantly, recognize that their actions are a test not a reflection of your worth, but a test of your patience, your faith, and your trust in Allah. Shaitan may use people, but Allah gives His servants strength, clarity, and victory. If others will slander you and many will oppose you, not because you've done something wrong, but because your presence challenges their ego, their insecurities, or their pride. This is a reality that every believer must learn to face, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. And when you do face it, remember this: your responsibility is to stay sincere and focused. Allah will handle the rest. You were not created to please people. You were not sent into this world to chase after every misunderstanding, every rumor, or every insult. You were created to worship Allah, to walk the path of truth, and to fulfill your role with dignity and humility. If your heart is sincere and your efforts are for the sake of Allah, you do not need to waste your energy defending yourself to those who have no interest in the truth. There are people who will never be satisfied with you no matter what you do. Even if you explain yourself 100 times, they will twist your words. Even if you offer kindness, they will respond with cruelty. And even if you remain silent, they will accuse you of hiding something. It's not about you. It's about what's in their hearts. That is why Allah reminds us again and again in the Qur'an to trust Him, because He sees what we cannot see. He knows who is genuine and who is not. He knows the hearts of people and He knows your intention. You may not be able to change what people think of you, but you can keep your heart clean, your purpose pure, and your focus on the one who rewards sincerity. When you are attacked, slandered, or mocked, don't lose your peace. Don't allow your emotions to take over. Remember that even the prophets were accused, ridiculed, and opposed by their own people. Did that stop them from fulfilling their mission? No, they stayed focused. They cried to Allah. They remained sincere. And Allah honored them in ways that no one could take away. The moment you begin to seek people's validation over Allah's approval, you will become exhausted. People are unpredictable. They may love you one day and turn against you the next. They may cite you one day and turn against you the next. They may come to you one day and turn against you the next, but Allah is constant. He is just. He is the one who defends the sincere. So hold on to that sincerity, even when it feels like no one appreciates it. Sometimes you will be tempted to respond, to prove yourself, to fight back. But silence can be more powerful than 1,000 arguments. If someone slanders you without reason, let your character speak. And most importantly, let Allah speak on your behalf. He promises in the Qur'an, indeed Allah defends those who believe. What more reassurance do we need? You see, when you take matters into your own hands, when you try to fight every accusation, you risk losing your inner peace. But when you leave it to Allah, when you stay sincere and focused on your purpose, you rise above the noise. You become someone whose strength is not based on loud words, but on a calm heart that trusts its Lord. And let's be honest, the people who truly matter, the ones who have wisdom, faith, and understanding, they will see your sincerity without you having to shout. And those who don't want to see it, no explanation will ever be enough for them. So focus on what matters. Serve with sincerity. Pray with devotion. Speak with kindness. Do your best and leave the rest to Allah. The same one who split the sea for Musa, who protected Yusuf in the well, who defended Aisha in the Qur'an, he is the one who watches over you. Let him deal with those who try to harm you. Stay firm, stay sincere, and keep walking your path. Allah is never unaware of what is being said behind your back. He is never absent when you cry in frustration, and He is never late in responding to injustice. Just remain focused and know that no slander can ever undo what Allah has written for you.